Yeah, I thought. To come to Western Kentucky today and beat a 9-win team from last year that returns 26 seniors and the addition of a dynamic quarterback, I think it's a big win for our program. They had 9 wins last year in Conference USA and are probably expected to battle for that championship this year in that conference. And I knew that this would be a good measuring stick of where we were in game 1 of year 2 of FBS play. And so I'm really proud of our kids and our staff. They've done a remarkable job during all the different times that we're in right now. And I just think our administration, our academic team, our nutrition team all did a great job in handling everything that was thrown at them in the bubble life that we've kind of been living. And so to come here and beat a senior-laden team that added a great quarterback from a 9-win season, I think is a great start for us in year 2.
And Coach, so many things to talk about today, but let's start off with that offensive line and the job that they did against this defensive line. For you guys to rush for 354 yards on the ground, how impressed were you with the way that they handled things?
Well, I've said, the few times I've interviewed in fall camp that I felt really good about our O-line and our running backs. I knew we had question marks at some other places. And, I think, I haven't watched the film obviously, but I think that we won the line of scrimmage against a good defensive line, a good defensive front. And so that was huge for us today. Obviously, to get the ball back up only 6 points and to be able to run the clock out, that's totally on the offensive line and the running backs, and real pleased with that.
For Malik Willis to come out here and have this kind of a debut, you said it, you never really know until you turn the lights on, or run the guy out there in a real game. 13 of 21, 133 yards passing, 21 carries for 168 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. Most rushing yards by a Liberty quarterback in probably about 10 years. I think Mike Brown was the last one to have that many.
Yeah, we're pleased with most of his play today. He made some mistakes that we can correct, but we knew he was athletic, knew that we could do some things in the run game with him, and I thought he was efficient in throwing the football. And we really could have thrown it some more probably, but I probably started trying to run the clock out a little too early, and probably should have thrown it a little bit more. But I was real pleased. He's got to get better at ball security when he's running and stay in bounds there at the end, and that would help us in that game a little quicker. But, I think it's pleased for his first start in college game. I'm pretty pleased.
Also wanted to ask about your defensive ends. They really came out and set the tone early today. Terrell Johnson, Trayshawn Clark made some big plays. It looked like those guys were able to kind of set that edge and really keep them from getting going.
I thought Darrell, started the game really well, as did Trayshawn, and they made plays throughout, I think, even their backups, I thought played well on the defensive line. I thought we stopped the run game pretty well all day. They had a few quarterback runs that hurt us, but, I was pleased with our defensive line. We've got to obviously not give up a couple third downs so easily, and then that last throw there, we got to defend it. But, I think our defense played pretty solid today.
Last thing from me before we get to the rest of the media, but the kicking game, is that still a concern here at this point?
Well, missed extra points certainly. We didn't protect on the field goal, and it got tipped. So I think Barbier's going to be fine. Thought our coverage units were good today. I think he'll be fine, but certainly we got to make extra points.
Thank you, Nick. First up here from the media, Damien, what do you have for Coach?
Coach, we saw Malik the confidence seemed to grow for him as the game went on. And there on that third touchdown run on the RPO, he read that DN collapse. And do you think that was a big play for him and being confident and having the game slow down and really reading how they were playing?
Yeah, it was a huge play in the game. And Coach Harrison was in the box, and he and Coach Gregg said that they thought if we got in this set that we would get that pull to the boundary. And so it was a great suggestion by our coaches, and great to see Malik execute it right. We just got to get him more consistent. He's going to be a very dangerous player to defend. He's just a little inconsistent and will guess sometimes. And and then puts us behind the chains. But I think he's going to get more and more comfortable, and really pleased with his first outing.
Next up, question from Ed Lane.
Coach, you just did a great job establishing the game in the trenches. How crucial was that from the beginning of this, especially with the new quarterback and also limited practice and tackling in practice to avoid injuries?
Yeah, I thought it was huge that I really, flying over here yesterday, Ian was sitting next to me, and he said, man, watching them, I think their front is very physical, their front six, and I said I would agree with you, but in the pit of my stomach, I really felt like our O-line was ready for the challenge, and had we not been able to establish the run, I think it's a long, long day for us. So, man, I thought that was critical, and I thought both lines kind of set the tone early on.
All right, going to Joshua Lipinski and then John Manson.
Hey, Coach. Joshua Lipowski here, actually. So in that third quarter, you gave up 14 unanswered points, and you had the failed fourth down conversion. The game really seemed to be slipping away from you. What was it that kept your team really composed and kept you guys from having that game slip away from you at that point?
Yeah, I think, hopefully in our program they see a consistency from everything from top to bottom in our daily approach. And I think when they see you that way, whether you're up 14 or whether you're down 14 or you're up 7 and you still have a confidence about you that the next series or the next play will be one that changes the momentum, because it certainly has slipped. And they had taken it back, and give them credit, they made some plays to do that. But hopefully the poise that our kids show is something that has to do with great leadership in the locker room, along with how we prepare, and was real pleased to see us take control of the game back.
Coach, did you get out of the game healthy today?
Peyton Pickett had an ankle, and C.J. Yarborough, we just held him. He probably could have played the second half, but he was hurting some, and I certainly didn't want to slow him down. That's only two that I know of. I haven't really talked to the training staff yet, but that's the only two that I'm aware of.
Thank you, Coach. Alan?
John, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, your team, like others around the country, has gone through a lot of adversity. Just to get to this game, not much less play and win the game. How pleased are you with their focus and their energy throughout the summer and the fall to get here, and then especially the way they played today?
Very proud of, again, our academic team, our nutrition team, our administration, our strength staff, coaches, players. This is a different year, and the game felt a little different today, but it's still a win, and we'll take it in whatever circumstances we're in. And we have to create our own energy in some of these environments, but to sacrifice the things we've had to get to this point is very rewarding, but also knowing that every week hinges on that same type of discipline and preparation and accountability to take care of each other, because it's just a different time and different world. But man, really, we'll fly home today and be very, very, very proud of everyone's effort that was put into getting to this day.
Damian, go ahead.
Coach, a couple questions for you. First, Damian Bounds did not play in the first half. What was the reason behind that? And then secondly, how pleased were you with the way the young cornerbacks played, like Chris Megginson, Quentin Reeds, making their first starts and playing with Falks and Avery both out?
Yeah, Damian, and just something that we felt like was right for the team, but he played the whole second half, so he served his time. The young corners, I know we blew a third down coverage with one of them, and didn't sink on another deep route that they had from the backside. But I'll watch the film, but I thought they played pretty solid. And I thought we tackled fairly decent too, and I was really worried about that, concern. So I thought the young corners played well. We're very thin there. We need Isaiah Avery to get back next week and Jimmy, so hopefully we can get deeper next week.
Johan from the Champion.
Hey, obviously the run game stood out for you all today, but you also got your first chance in a game to see, your wide receivers working with the new quarterback. Did any receivers stand out to you in particular today?
Not really. We've got to improve there. I thought Shaw, he showed some senior leadership, as did Stubbs. DeMario, we got to get more involved. He's a playmaker, and obviously hopefully get CJ and Noah healthy. But I believe in those young guys too, CJ Daniels and Javion and Brady Brom. They all contributed for sure. But we need to get healthy there, and we did make we made some mistakes there that really hurt us and got us off schedule a couple of times on their RPO choices that they made that were wrong. And we've just got to continue to improve that group and get them healthy.
Back to Damien.
Coach, we saw an elite speed from Shadro Lewis on that run around the left side where he made one cut and he was gone. Is that the type of speed we're going to see out of him this year? And did you like the way you guys used him when he wasn't being, outside of the kick return game?
Yeah, I thought he ran inside the tackles well also, and obviously we think he's got some breakaway capability and probably should have used him more earlier. It's just hard, you got 3, 4. We got 4. I think Troy can play too, so we're really blessed at running back and, have confidence in all of those guys.